Hello and welcome to this video showing an unusual application of Gekko antennas. One of our customers got a task of checking the status of the subgrade of a railway. They decided to mount two Gekko antennas, a Gekko 80 and a Gekko 120, in front of the rail cart. They used an ACLA 9000C with two channels to collect simultaneously data from both antennas. In these pictures you can see how the setup looked like. I started by opening the file. Our acquisition units store all channels data in the same file, and when the file is opened in GPR Soft, the software separates the two channels into two files. Here you can see the file for the Gekko 120 and the Gekko 80. I'll check first the data on both files and decide which one to use or both. The header files, which are read directly from the data files, show which parameters were used during the collection of the data. Here I have the data from the Gekko 120 on the left and the one from the Gekko 80 on the right. I think the data from the Gekko 80 doesn't add much to the information I need. This means that I'll be using only the data from the Gekko 120 for analyzing and interpreting the survey. Upon examination of the collected data with the Gekko 120, I can see that most of the file is more or less homogeneous. This means I can use similar settings for processing most of it. However, I've noticed that there is an area where the reflections are stronger. Applying the same settings for the entire file would create havoc on the stronger areas, or alternatively, it would leave weaker areas with less contrast. I'm going to crop the entire file into three separate files: the start, the middle section, and the end. I'm going to process them separately, and finally I'm going to join them together to obtain a complete process profile. For each section, I'll be applying the correct settings and checking for the integrity of the data. It is important to not overdo things or create artifacts. Now I have divided the original file into 3 sections. It is time to process them to get the best possible data in order to interpret the results. Please note that I'm not using any excessive processing, just a careful background removal with the correct indexes, some filtering and minimal gain. This should provide me with a good continuous file to interpret and analyze. With the files now fully processed, it is time to join them together to obtain the entire process file. Now I can open the file containing all section as one and analyze the quality of the data for the interpretation process. I think there is a lot of information on this data, and whether or not it suits the needs of our customer, this is a good example on how to approach processing this kind of data. Thank you very much for following this somewhat lengthy tutorial. If you have any questions, please contact our sales department at sales@geoscanners.com. They'll be able to help you find the correct configuration for just your survey needs and even give you advice with your existing hardware. Have a wonderful day and see you soon on this channel.